Ladies and gentlemen, this is GameInsider.com video. Dying Light is no longer going to be released on the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360. The ports have been cancelled. Basically speaking, Techland have said that old generation of consoles just couldn't run the game well. They said, and I quote, "After thorough internal testing, we have come to a conclusion that we have no choice but to leave past generation systems behind and release Dying Light exclusively on the PC and next generation consoles. To put it simply, older consoles just couldn't run the game and stay true to the core vision of Dying Light at the same time. To ensure you enjoy Dying Light as much as we would like you to, we have chosen to release it without any compromise on the three strongest systems available. Thanks to this, you'll get the full and best experience regardless of the platform you play on." And then they add a few examples of this. For example, they say truly next generation experience. For instance, up to 200,000 objects can be displayed in the game at once. And add to this the use of realistic physics-based lighting technology, and you really start to push the next generation systems. Then there's some more PR-y speak, but effectively they say that the graphics, the physics, the lighting as a whole, and all of the other parts of this, for example, the way the characters move and so on, it's basically part of the gameplay. And they feel that it's going to be too much of a compromise on the older generation systems. It's going to affect the frame rates too much. It's not going to be a fluid enough experience. And so they feel that it's only possible to release it on technologically advanced platforms. Now, I realise this is going to be very disappointing to quite a few people who have not made the leap yet. And when you look at the statement, it can come across as a little harsh, because they do say that, thanks to this, you'll get the full and best experience regardless of the platform you play on. Now, some could argue, well, not if you're playing on the PS3, because you're not going to get the experience at all. But the counter argument to this is, let's take the Xbox 360, let's pick on the Xbox just for a second. Not that the PlayStation 3 is any really better. I mean, the Xbox 360 is pretty much 10 years old now. It just can't handle it. It's that simple. And if you keep chopping the game up, if you keep saying, well, we're going to reduce the resolution, we're going to have to cut the frame rate down, we're going to have to mess the lighting, we're going to have to make the lighting worse and less detail on this, and reduce the level of detail on the draw distances, and it's like, it becomes to the point where, what are you going to do? Have like a Silent Hill kind of fog everywhere? So if you step out more than 3 inches, that you can't see where you're going, it just starts to ruin the whole immersion and the experience. And so you can argue that yes, technically the title would be released, but it reminds me a bit of Street Fighter 2 that was released on the Master System back in the day. There is a version, I actually only found out about it quite recently, and you look at videos of it on YouTube and it's just awful. Not only are there tons of characters missing, but the Master System only has 2 buttons on the bloody pad. It's like there's so much animation gone, there's so many characters that are just not there, they've missed out special moves, the music's awful, and you just think to yourself, well, is it really worth playing this? Honestly, I mean, I probably will give it a shot just to say that I've played it, but it's only because I'm, interested in Street Fighter. But you're not really going to want to play it. Aside from that, the 7th generation of systems is just too old, and I know that it sucks if you don't have the latest system. It does, but it's just kind of a fact of life at this point. Developers can only push the hardware so much. I mean, there's so many complaints already about the current generation systems, the 8th generation, the PS4 X1. So, I think that this is going to be one of those games where, Techland, I think it's quite a brave decision, considering they've come quite far into the development cycle, and of course, moreover, considering the fact that they have actually announced the game. But this is just one of those games that is being released, and I feel that there are... I think as well the other problem is that because you're splitting resources and you're trying to get the engine to run on both, you're always going to be cobbling things together. unless you're going to be basically coding the game from from the ground up and you're making all the assets. It also holds back the next generation ports as well, simply because time's being split between all the versions, and of course that holds back gameplay elements as well, because let's assume that you need a ridiculously open world environment, but the old generation can't quite handle that, therefore you have to start cutting corners here and there just to make sure that the gameplay itself would be usable and abusable on the previous generation hardware. It becomes a bit tricky. So I personally believe that they've made the right decision. I think it's brave of them to do it, as I said, considering how far along they are. And you've got to remember that this is not something they're doing out of spite. It's effectively, if they were to release this, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 have a large install base at the end of the day. They would most likely make more money. But if they don't, but what's the point? If they know they're going to get slated in the reviews, if they know that it's going to be a crappy experience, it's just going to drag the name through the mud just to make a quick buck, not really worth it. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Sorry if it's a bearer of bad news type of video, but, well, yeah, it is what it is, I'm afraid. I think we're going to be having a lot more titles. I mean, I think over the next year, 2015 really is going to be the twilight of the PS3/360. And obviously that's just how it is for every generation of consoles. I will say, however, the PS2 managed to last for bloody ages. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care and bye for now.